Well, let's take you back to Tshwane now, where everything is actually happening. This is where senior reporter Canny Maphanga is standing by just to give us a comprehensive summation of the testimony. Good afternoon, Canny. Quite a lot already being said by General Fannie Masemola. Just share with us or give us a comprehensive summation of what we've heard thus far.
Indeed, good afternoon to you, Mfundo, and to the viewers at home. We've just seen the top cop, General Fannie Masemola, essentially lay the foundation for the work of the South African Police Services from his vantage point as its operational head. He started off this foundation by creating a clear distinction between the operations of the South African Police Services, so that is the operational head, versus the ministerial head. He quite clearly states that where a minister is concerned, you're dealing with someone that drives policy, so the strategic head of the particular institution. However, when it comes to the how police implement their issues, then you're now dealing with his mandate as the operational head. So, for example, if they decide as the minister that the priorities are going to be cash and transit heights that the police must focus on in this year, then of course that will then be the strategic direction of the minister. However, the how, as to how the SABC National Commissioner will give effect to this particular priority lays in his mandate. Essentially, what they're teasing there is this argument that Lieutenant General Mchunu has already raised in his evidence in chief last week, that the Police Minister Senzo Mchunu had committed an overreach when he decided to disband the Political Killings Task Team. That means that it did not fall within his powers or his remit for him to take such a decision, and to do so allegedly without consulting the National Commissioner and the Lieutenant General Mchunu, who was, I guess, presiding over that particular team, because they were operating in the KwaZulu-Natal province at the most, because that is where the political violence had been identified as a prevailing concern, and it is against that backdrop that the team was established in the first place. He then moves on to this issue of, if we've established that there's a distinction between the operational head and the ministerial head, rather, then the question that followed from the Commission's chair, that is retired Justice Madlanga, is that if you receive an instruction from the ministerial head that falls outside of his powers, and we accept that that would be an unlawful instruction, then would the SABC National Commissioner accept or obey the instruction that is given? There was a bit of a difficult moment for the National Commissioner as he tried to answer that question, because at first was unsure, with him stating that it depends, and then that prompted further questions, because if an instruction is unlawful, then it's unlawful, and if it's lawful, then it's lawful. However, when he explained further, we got round to the answer in the end that if an instruction given by the minister is unlawful and does not fall within his remit, then you would not have to obey that instruction. But an interesting remark that he made while he was ventilating this answer to the Commission is that that can be quite, quote-unquote, career limiting. Yeah. That already intimates the kind of political interference or alleged political interference that the SAPs in their operations are currently facing. Because if you have someone from the top stating that it can be career limiting to disobey an instruction coming from a ministerial head, that gives you an idea of the kind of alleged interference and tensions between the two distinctive roles that you're seeing in this particular institution. Then, of course, the Political Killings Task Team. He deals with the success rate, which basically affirms what Lieutenant General Mchunu has stated regarding its success in, once you bring this particular team into cases that have been dragging for quite some time, that you start to see results. But then questions started to bounce between the Commission, the Chief Evidence Leader, and Masemola himself as to how you measure that particular success. We've seen the numbers stating that they had about 612 dockets. Less than 50% of those were convicted, and according to the General, that is General Masemola, that is a effective success rate to the point where he could continue giving this particular team a budget. He also measures it against what he states in his view, that whenever this particular team was placed in those cases that are quite stubborn and refuse to be resolved, you would see a quick success rate happening there. And he states that had there been consultation on the part of the suspended police minister, he would have learned these facts and he would have been convinced not to disband the Political Killings Task Team. So as far as that evidence, we see him affirming what Lieutenant General Mkhwanazi has stated. But with respect to the judiciary, in particular, the magistrates that have been mentioned or been fingered in this alleged corruption in the criminal justice system, he concedes that this is hearsay evidence. We did discuss earlier that Lieutenant General Mkhwanazi had implicated one magistrate stating that because of a bail condition, he suspected that there may have been an alleged collusion with the organized crime syndicates. However, that has prompted many questions because of where does one reach the conclusion that just because someone gave a bail condition that did not suit or favor the particular commissioner, that one can reach the conclusion that they're in cahoots, allegedly, with an organized crime syndicate, rather. He concedes, that is General Masemola, that it's hearsay evidence. It's not a conclusive fact. And of course, this is a subject of much investigation. And I'm sure this fact-finding probe will get to the bottom of what this particular claim is about the magistrates. However, that part of the evidence with respect to Lieutenant General Mkhwanazi and now General Masemola, who is the second witness on the stand, is not particularly clear. After the lunch adjournment, we expect that the two key figures that are currently facing very serious charges in our criminal justice system over this alleged drug cartel and the activities that have followed these operations, which the PKTT uncovered in Gauteng, will be the subject of General Masemola's evidence following the lunch adjournment. We expect that he will be giving evidence for at least 2 days as this fact-finding mission continues to discover or establish the facts around these allegations of criminality, political interference, and corruption in the criminal justice system. Over to you in studio.
Canny, thank you very much for that comprehensive summation of the proceedings thus far. That is our reporter Canny Maphanga reporting live from the Bridget Mabantla Justice College in Pretoria, where the commission is, of course, looking into allegations of criminality, political interference, as well as corruption.